Imagine the police showing up at your home, all because of a harmless flag. Now imagine their faces when they discover the suspect's husband is one of their own. The knock was sharp and deliberate, 3 heavy thuds that rattled the frame of the door. Inside her neat 2-story home in Tempe, Arizona, Danielle Morton froze in place, a dish towel still in her hand. She wasn't expecting anyone. Neighbors usually rang the bell or sent a text. And her husband, Anthony, hadn't mentioned company. From the side glass panel, she saw them. 2 uniformed officers, one resting his hand near his belt. Her first thought wasn't fear. It was confusion. Why would the police be at her door in the middle of the afternoon? Danielle opened it just enough to step into the frame. "Good afternoon, officers. Can I help you with something?" The taller one, Officer Grant, adjusted his cap. "Ma'am, we received a call from your homeowners association. They reported a violation and a possible confrontation. We just need to ask you a few questions." Danielle frowned. "A confrontation? With who?" "I've been home all day." The younger officer shifted uncomfortably. "They said you refused to comply with HOA rules about decorations on your property." Danielle laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. She stepped aside so they could see for themselves. A bright sunflower flag fluttered gently beside her porch. Just a cheerful spring design. "Nothing political? Nothing controversial? You're here because of that?" she asked, pointing at the flag. The silence between the officers stretched, awkward and telling. Danielle crossed her arms. "So let me get this straight. The HOA called the police on me over sunflowers?" Grant cleared his throat. "They claimed you were aggressive when contacted before." Danielle's eyes widened. "Aggressive? No one from the HOA has even knocked on my door. I got a letter, sure, but no one's spoken to me face to face." The younger officer looked down at his notepad, clearly embarrassed. Danielle stepped forward. "Do I look like I'm causing a disturbance? I'm cooking dinner in my own home, minding my business. This doesn't make any sense." And then, the sound of heavy footsteps came from behind her. Her husband, Lieutenant Anthony Morton, stepped into view. Still in his police uniform, badge shining, radio at his side. "What's going on?" he asked firmly, his voice carrying the authority of someone used to command. The officers froze. Their confidence cracked. "Lieutenant Morton?" Grant stammered. Anthony raised an eyebrow. "Yes, and you are?" Suddenly, the balance of power had shifted. The officers knew it. Danielle knew it. This wasn't really about a flag at all. And deep down, everyone standing there could feel it. What the police didn't yet realize was that this petty complaint had been brewing for days, carefully escalated by an HOA president with his own agenda. And the fight? It was only just beginning. Grant's jaw tightened. "Doesn't matter," he muttered. "People look fine until they don't. We go by the report." But even as he said it, a thread of doubt pulled at him. Years on the job had given him a front-row seat to HOA-initiated complaints, and most were petty. Trash cans left out too long, a dog barking at night, teenagers skating too close to manicured lawns. They almost always ended the same. Frustrated residents on one side and officers stuck in the middle, embarrassed at being dragged into neighborhood squabbles. Still, the word hostile carried weight. It meant paperwork, and paperwork demanded justification. Inside the Morton home, Danielle hummed softly in the kitchen as she chopped vegetables for dinner. She thought about how nice it would be to spend a quiet evening with Anthony. Her eyes drifted to the sunflower flag swaying outside the window. Cheerful, harmless, almost laughably innocent. She wondered again how anyone could possibly see it as threatening. Her phone buzzed. A new email. She wiped her hands and checked. The subject line froze her. "Notice of report to authorities." Danielle tapped it open. The message was short, clipped, official. "Due to non-compliance and hostile behavior, this matter has been escalated to local authorities. Expect follow-up." She read it twice before setting the phone down, her stomach tightening. "Hostile behavior?" she whispered. "I haven't even spoken to them." Her thoughts jumped to Anthony, to her children, to what could happen if officers arrived believing lies. Meanwhile, out on East Ridge Lane, Grant and Delgado rolled slowly past neat uniform houses. Tan stucco walls, red tile roofs, perfectly trimmed lawns competing for a magazine cover. Delgado spotted the number first. "That's the one." Grant slowed the cruiser. "All right. Standard approach. Keep it calm." They parked. The sunflower flag was visible from the street, waving gently in the warm Arizona breeze. Delgado frowned. "That's it? That's what we're here for?" Grant shook his head. "Don't assume. Follow the process." Both men stepped out, boots crunching against pavement. Grant adjusted his vest. Delgado, still green, tugged at his duty belt nervously. From across the street, blinds shifted. Within seconds, 2 more sets of eyes appeared at windows. Word always traveled fast in neighborhoods like this. Inside, Danielle froze at the sight of the blue and white cruiser pulling to a stop outside. Her chest tightened. She grabbed a towel, wiping her hands quickly, her pulse racing. "Mom." Kira's voice came from the stairs, her phone still in her hand. She glanced out the window. "The cops are here." Danielle closed her eyes, took one breath, and steadied herself. "All right, I'll talk to them." On the porch, Grant knocked hard. Delgado stood just behind him, his hand resting near his belt, not on the holster, but close enough. The sound echoed through the Morton home. Danielle walked to the door, glanced once through the side panel, and exhaled. 2 officers. Serious faces. She opened it slowly. "Good afternoon." Her voice was calm, steady. Delgado's eyes flicked from her face to the sunflower flag and back again. He murmured under his breath, just loud enough for Grant to catch. "This doesn't look hostile." Grant ignored it. He kept his tone professional. "Ma'am, mind if we ask you a few questions?" Danielle folded her arms. "You can ask. But you should know this is harassment. They've been writing me up for a sunflower flag. That's all this is about." For the first time, Grant hesitated. His eyes shifted to the flag, bright and harmless, and then back to her. The story on the report didn't quite fit the reality in front of him. And before he could answer, heavy footsteps came from inside the house. Anthony Morton stepped into the doorway, still in full police uniform. His badge caught the sunlight as his voice cut sharp across the air. "What's going on here?" Both officers stiffened instantly. Recognition dawned. "Lieutenant Morton," Grant said carefully. "Yes," Anthony replied, his gaze firm. "And you are?" In that moment, the balance at the door shifted completely. The HOA's narrative, hostile homeowner, dangerous situation, collapsed in an instant. The weight of Anthony's uniform and authority filled the space like a gust of wind breaking open a closed room. Danielle stood beside him, arms crossed, exhaustion etched across her face. Not angry, just tired. Tired of being painted as something she wasn't. The 2 officers straightened, their voices more careful now, their postures rigid. The encounter had changed, and outside, unseen but not unnoticed, neighbors watched from their windows, already shaping their own versions of the story. Subscribe to Drama Lady Files for more powerful real-life stories.